It's been a few days since I last made a video. One is because school is back for me, and second is because there's nothing coming out of any sources for the Golden State Warriors. However, that changes today, and it's getting me really excited. According to Sam Amico of HoopsWire, the Golden State Warriors are one of the teams that could be interested in signing the 6-time All-Star. And who am I talking about here? Blake Griffin. Amico further tweeted that, quote, "It's believed the 76ers and the Warriors are among some of the other teams interested in Griffin, as maybe the Clippers, the team with which Griffin's career began." Now, the Golden State Warriors have 2 open roster spots left currently, and because Griffin is not eligible for a 2-week contract, and the fact that Golden State will leave 1 spot open for flexibility, that puts Blake Griffin in a prime position to land the spot. And of course, Golden State has some previous workouts with other free agents, but again, we did not hear anything from that, so I'm assuming either the workouts went bad or Golden State is considering more options, which is where Blake Griffin comes in. In today's video, let's talk about why Blake Griffin right now is the best free agent option for the Golden State Warriors from the roster perspective, his skill sets, and most importantly, that relationship he has with Chris Paul. So without further ado, let's roll the intro.
Hi. I'm on my match in the dark. 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 I'm on my match.
Yo, what's up guys, Jason's here back with another video. If it's the first time watching, I mostly cover news and reports of the Golden State Warriors, but we also occasionally make content for every other team in the league. So if you want the latest basketball news as your single feed, all you're gonna do is to leave a like and subscribe so that you will not miss any of my future upload. Now, let's start by talking about our current roster depth. Looking at our current team, you can see here we have a very deep backcourt with guys like Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Chris Paul, and all kinds of veterans and young players. But when it comes to the front court, the problem arises. Currently, we have Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, and Kevon Looney starting. Behind them, we got Kuminga, Saric, and Jackson Davis. So obviously, there's work to be done in this area. Now, Blake Griffin, being a 6'9" forward, gives us so much flexibility. In his first few years with the Clippers, Griffin is by far one of the best power forwards in the league. And then these past 2 years for Brooklyn and Boston, Blake Griffin actually played a little bit of center, just like what Draymond Green has been doing for the Warriors his entire career. So the fact that Blake Griffin can play multiple roles in the front court is very promising. Now, in terms of Blake Griffin the player, it's getting me excited. Compared to all the guys we have been working out with, Griffin is by far the best player among them all, and he kept proving us he belongs to the league. This past year for Boston with very limited playing time, Griffin was averaging 4.1 points, 3.8 rebounds, and 1.5 assists per game, while shooting 34.8% from behind the arc. Now, I really want to emphasize Griffin's shooting quickly. If we take a look at his first few years in the league, it was constantly below 30%. But then these past few years, even though there are ups and downs, Griffin is getting a lot more consistent when it comes to shooting 3-pointers. Now, to be honest, a lot of us, including myself, know Blake Griffin as a very dominant power forward, but that is not the case anymore. But one thing for sure is Blake Griffin is now a very solid role player. And when it comes to defense, Griffin can totally hold his ground as he has a career 106.9 defensive rating. You can see here after 2019, that poor season, Griffin has been improving quite a bit every single year, so I'm not too worried about the defensive aspect about Blake Griffin. Now, the last part I want to talk about, which is the most important here, is Chris Paul. Let's be honest here, if there's one guy in the NBA that can bring Blake Griffin back to his older version, that guy is Chris Paul. We have to admit that Chris Paul, Blake Griffin duo in Los Angeles has to be one of the most dominant and exciting duo to watch ever. Chris Paul and Blake Griffin were teammates for a total of 6 seasons. The chemistry has been built. What really intrigues me is how is the complementary effect going to work? On one side of it, Chris Paul can bring the best out of Blake Griffin. On the other hand, if everything goes well, Griffin can also elevate Chris Paul's trade value. Like we discussed earlier, Golden State like to have a master plan to flip Chris Paul for more star players before the trade deadline. And with the fact that Blake Griffin will only cost a vet minimum contract, that makes the return on investment potentially huge. Also, on the business side of things, this also makes more sense. Blake Griffin, compared to all the guys the Golden State Warriors have been working out with, has a much bigger fan base and he's a much bigger player to catch audience eyes. So if I were the Warriors owner, I would consider this aspect as well. I gotta say, I completely forgot Blake Griffin is still a free agent, and I must admit, this is the guy I want to sign to fill in the last roster spot. Because after going through every possible aspects, everything makes perfect sense for the Warriors to sign Griffin. But again, regardless who we sign eventually, it's very promising that the Warriors front office is checking into new players every single week to make that final decision. Alright guys, that's all we got for today's video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below if you want the Golden State Warriors to sign Blake Griffin. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and follow me on social media with all the links in the description box down below. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.